Stothard.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Festerson.
Here.
Gray.
Here.
Jerem.
Here.
Mr. President.
Here. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and would you remain standing for the invocation by Councilmember Ben Gray?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I would also like to ask today that you place a special blessing on the family of Harold Dow and his CBS family. Harold was the first African American to appear in prime time in a broadcast here in Omaha, Nebraska back in 1968. I would also ask a special blessing for Rod Austin and his family as they go through some very difficult times. Rod is a member of the City Council staff and a very close friend of ours. I would ask you to watch over them. Amen.
City Clerk certified publication in the Daily Record on September 10th. Notice for a pre-council and a regular City Council meeting September 14th, 2010. A current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in a white binder on the east wall of the legislative chambers.
If you have a cell phone or pager, we ask that you turn it off or to vibrate. Mr. Clerk, first item.
Transit Authority of the City of Omaha transmits their resolutionary tax levy allocations request for the year 2011. We need a motion to receive and refer to Finance.
Second.
Roll call.
Mulligan. Stothard. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson. Gray.
Yes.
Jerem. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item number 6, resolution that pursuant to provisions of the state statutes, the Transit Authority of the City of Omaha Board certifies to the city clerk their tax rate of 4.872 cents.
Public hearing on item number 6 begins now. Are there any proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Do we move to approve or place on?
Move to approve this
Move to
one.
approve.
Roll call.
Mulligan.
Yes.
Stothard.
No.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
It's adopted on a 6-1 vote. Item number 7, resolution that pursuant to the Nebraska revised statutes, the current property tax request for the 2011 be different amount than the property tax requested for 2010, and the rate be set at 49.922 for the City of Omaha.
Public hearing on item number 7 begins now. Are there any proponents?
This is the public hearing. Yeah.
Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Move to approve.
Second. No lights. Roll call.
Mulligan.
Yes.
Stothard. Thompson.
No.
Festerson.
No.
Gray.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
It's adopted on a 4-3 vote. Resolutions are preliminary plats subdivision agreements. 8 and 9 are one case. 8 is resolution preliminary plat entitled Robinson and Rogers Addition, located southeast of 72nd Street and Rainbow Road, with a waiver of sidewalks along attached conditions is accepted in preparation of final plat is hereby authorized. A, Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. And 9 is the plat entitled Robinson and Rogers Addition is hereby approved. A, Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on items 8 and 9 begin now. Are there any proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Motion approved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mulligan.
Yes.
Stothard.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Jerem. Mr. President.
Yes.
It's adopted 7-0. Pursuant to City Council Rule 70, agenda item number 10 shall be laid over 2 weeks for publication and public hearing. Pursuant to City Council Rule 70, agenda items number 11 through 12 shall be laid over for 2 weeks. Pursuant to City Council Rule 70, agenda item number 13 shall be laid over 2 weeks for publication and public hearing. Item number 14, resolution, the application submitted by Hawkins Construction Company for a major amendment to a special use permit to allow a landfill in a general industrial district located southeast of 62nd and Q Street is hereby approved. A, Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on item number 14 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yes, Mr. President, members of the council, Larry Jobin, 11440 West Center Road, appearing on behalf of Hawkins Construction, simply here to answer any questions that you might have regarding this application.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed. Mrs. Stothard?
Thank you. Mr. Jobin?
Yes.
You have to say your name.
Larry Jobin.
I just want to clarify that this, the purpose of this is to allow expansion of an existing landfill, correct?
That's correct.
All
yes.
right. That's all I need to ask you. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mulligan? Stothard? No, we need a motion and a second first.
Motion approved. I was going to say, we did it.
That was fast.
Motion approved.
Second. Roll call.
Mulligan? Stothard? Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson? Gray?
Yes.
Jerem? Mr. President?
Yes. I was just seeing if they're
Adopted
awake.
7-0. Liquor, item number 15, the Capitol at 1011 Capitol Avenue, new application, new location, a Class I liquor license.
Public hearing on item number 15 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yes, Sean Kelly, 7134 Pacific. Mr. President, members of the council, I'm here on behalf of the applicant. He is here today along with the manager if you guys have any questions for them.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Motion approved.
Roll call.
Mulligan? Stothard? Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson? Gray?
Yes.
Jerem? Mr. President?
Yes.
And Jerem passes a second time for potential conflict of interest. It's adopted 6-0-1 passing. Item number 16 is Tio's Mexican Bar and Grill, 17520 Wright Street, Suite 6. Request permission for an addition of an L-shaped sidewalk cafe area to the northwest.
Public hearing on item number 16 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yeah, Sean Kelly, 7134 Pacific. Council, this application was before you a couple weeks ago. This is just an addition to their license that has been approved.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Motion approved.
Roll call.
Mulligan? Stothard? Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson? Gray?
Yes.
Jerem? Passing. Mr. President?
Yes.
And Mr. Jerem passes second time for potential conflict of interest. It's adopted 6-0-1 passing. Item number 17, Kobe of Omaha, 120 Regency Parkway, Suite 139. Request permission to appoint Yong Si Chang, manager of their present Class I liquor license.
Public hearing on item number 17 begins now. Are there any proponents?
This is Young Gang, Regency Parkway, Kobe Steakhouse.
And I'm James West, Winfield, Kansas, owner of Kobe Steakhouse.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Move the approval.
Roll call.
Mulligan? Stothard? Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson? Gray?
Yes.
Jerem? Mr. President?
Yes.
It's approved 7-0. Item number 18, Curtin Clyde's 2202 South 13th Street. Request permission for a special designated license for a beer garden with live music on September 25th from 12 noon to 2 a.m. Music would end at midnight.
Public hearing on item number 18 begins now. Are there any proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Motion approved.
Second. Roll call.
Mulligan? Stothard? Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson? Gray?
Yes.
Jerem? Mr. President?
Yes.
It's adopted 7-0. Any member of the City Council may cause an item placed on the consent agenda to be removed. Items removed from consent agenda shall be taken up by the City Council immediately following the consent agenda in the order in which they were removed unless otherwise provided by the City Council Rules of Order.
Can you take 20 off?
20, okay.
Public hearing on agenda item number 19 and 20 were held on August 31st. We have a request to remove item number 20. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do we have a motion on
approved.
19? Roll call?
Mulligan? Stothard? Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson? Gray?
Yes.
Jerem? Oh, Mr. President?
Yes.
It's passed 7-0. Now we can just take item number 20 now. 20 is ordinance approve the agreement with Nodo Zestos Development LLC to convert the property Lot 5 Union Pacific Place Edition. A's of Communications.
Motion approved.
No lights, roll call?
Mulligan.
Yes.
Stothard.
Yes.
Thompson.
No.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Jerem. Mr. President.
Yes.
And Mr. Jerem passes the second time for a potential conflict of interest. It's adopted on a 5-1-1 passing. Item number 21 is an ordinance approving the redevelopment loan agreement for Capitol Row LLC to implement the Capitol Row redevelopment plan, 22nd to 24th, Chicago to Davenport Street. We have an amendment.
Public hearing was held on August 31st. Is there a motion on the amendment?
Motion to approve the amendment. Second.
No lights, roll call?
Mulligan.
Yes.
Stothard.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson. Gray.
Yes.
Jerem. Mr. President.
Yes.
As amended. Second.
Roll call?
Mulligan. Stothard. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson. Gray.
Yes.
Jerem. Mr. President.
Yes.
Passed as amended, 7-0.
The public hearings on agenda item numbers 22 through 35 begin now. 22 through 35 begin now. Are there any proponents?
Tim Book, Omaha Fire. Myself and our Special Operations Coordinator, Bradley Hildebrand, are here to answer any questions you may have on item number 33.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed.
Motion approved.
No lights, roll call.
So on items 22 through 35, Mulligan.
Yes.
Stothard. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Jerem. Mr. President.
Yes.
They're all adopted, 7-0. Ordinance on final reading, item 36, ordinance to approve an amendment to the Omaha Suburban Park element of the master plan for the city of Omaha. A is an amendment requested by the Parks Department, and B, Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on item number 36 begins now. Are there any proponents?
I'm Pat Slavin with Omaha Parks and Recreation. I'm here with Jeremy Cook from HDR. We're here to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Cook from HDR. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Brian Doyle, Follenkamp Doyle and Jobin, 11440 West Center Road. Here on behalf of the Eastern Nebraska Development Council, a group of developers and engineers and architects and attorneys. I want to first thank the Parks Department, Pat and Jeremy both in particular. They identified a need and a problem, and they came to the development community and asked for our input and our help. And so we support that. New fees are never easy, but we are in support of this proposal.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Is the rest of your office coming down today, Mr. Doyle? Any opponents? Public hearing's closed. Mr. Thompson?
Thank you, Mr. President. Even though there are some fee increases, I think it's a fair way to do it. I was impressed that MOBA signed off on this, and the fact that it's not the neighborhood parks that are being levied, but perhaps the larger parks. And I think it's appropriate to have a tiered approach to where the higher homes have to pay a little bit more. So I think it's well thought through, and I want to go ahead and move the approval. Is this,
Yes.
we going to vote today?
Yes, we can vote today on
Move
the
the
amendment.
approval on number 36.
Second.
Thank you. Mrs. Stothard?
Yes, as Councilman Thompson said, when you talk about the fees, I think it's important to clarify, and is Melinda Pearson, are you here? Okay. Although some of these fees might be raised, now with the new fee schedule, some may actually go down. Is that correct? Because now the fees are per valuation of the home.
I'm going to defer that to Jeremy and Pat because it's sort of a complex schedule.
Jeremy Cook, HDR, that is correct. It depends
On the situation, but yes, particularly for the valuation-based ones, they could go down.
They could go down or they could go up, because there was an article in the Omaha World Herald, and I'm sure many people read it, and I think it gave the impression that the fees would go up, so therefore the taxpayers would pay more.
Yeah, that's correct, but there would be actually no additional tax burden placed on the city. These are all fees that would be paid by the SNIDs, by both the developers and the homeowners.
And since it is a tiered fee schedule based on valuations, like I said, some of the higher end homes could end up paying more, but some of the lower could actually go down.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No further lights. Roll call.
It's on the amendment. Mulligan? Stothard? Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson? Gray?
Yes.
Jerem? Mr. President.
Yes.
As amended?
Second. Roll call.
Mulligan? Stothard? Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson? Gray? Jerem? Mr. President.
Yes.
Passed as amended, 7-0. Pursuant to City Council Rule 70, the public hearing on agenda item 37 through 38 shall be held on the third reading. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7C, the public hearing on agenda items 39 through 49 shall be held on the second reading. Item number 50 is a reconsideration. Motion by Councilmember Gray to reconsider CCID number 970, being an ordinance presenting the PK Parking Overlay District located northeast of 49th and Dodge Street. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend. CCID number 971, being an ordinance to rezone property from R7 and LO2CC. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. And B is communications opposing. And CCID 972, being in the resolution preliminary plat entitled Dundee Place replat number 19. And Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. And CCID number 973, being the replat transmitted here with entitled Dundee replat number 19. And Planning Board and Planning Department recommend. And CCID number 981, being the subdivision agreement with Nebraska CVS Pharmacy LLC, being approved with a roll call on September 23rd, 2010.
Second.
What? September 21st, 2010. Okay, we have a second. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Roll call.
Mulligan? Stothard? Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson? Gray?
Yes.
Jerem? Mr. President.
Quite 20.